Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Indiana Esport Network. We're into week 12 of some Valorant action. Before we get into our exciting best of one, I've got to introduce the young, handsome, talented Edu. How are we feeling tonight, my friend?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's nice to be back on the mic with you, Hot Sauce, here at IEN. It's nice to be doing it with LandFest behind us, and it's great to be seeing it on Valorant of all games, my main game, and very excited to see what these kids are going to be able to do for us today.
Yeah, we're going back a little bit of the old school style here with, I believe we heard that the map is going to be bind here tonight. So I know you and I were both a little bit of excited about that. Do you think we're going to see some traditional compositions? Are we going to see some of maybe those new agents coming out tonight? Or what are you hoping for?
Honestly, knowing the scholastic side of esports, we are going to be seeing just kids wanting to figure out this map. And the thing about it is there are some really unique ways to play it with Viper as a controller compared to any other. You have a lot of options for these kids. And honestly, I think that the main bread and butter of this map are those Raze players, which a lot of kids love movement. So seeing them fly around as Raze might be interesting. Or we could just see, you know, them throw any kind of agent comp at this and really showcase their mechanical skills. You know, that's the one thing about this kind of competition is we want to be looking at where these kids have their best attributes. Is it aim? Is it game sense? Is it team planning and team coordination? Or is it just going for the funds, going for the fun of it?
Yeah, you know, I'm a little biased, so I think I'm going to be hoping for some Raze myself here as well. But yeah, you know, you're right. I think when we see a lot of the scholastic scene, this high school scene, it's a little bit more about that comfortability pick. It's not necessarily about what's meta or what's amazing right now. So looking forward to seeing what these schools opt to go with. Penn Valorant, I believe, here in week 12, sitting at 9-2. Zionsville maybe stepping into it a little bit late this season. From what I was seeing on the website, they're only 2-3 for them at the moment. So looking to break even at the moment for them. It could be a big upset if they're able to find this win against Penn.
Yeah, this could be a little bit of a, turnaround for all of these guys. And looking at the two different teams that we have, I'm really going to be excited to see, what kind of talent that really shines. Obviously, when you have a scholastic scene, a lot of the time you have a very varied skill group. So I want to see those star players, and I also want to see, the support roles. A lot of the fun about Valorant compared to Counter-Strike or any other tactical shooter is the way that that a initiator or a sentinel might not be the guy to get all the headshots, but they will be the ones who break in for their team, and that kind of team play and team synergy I want to see from both of these two teams today.
As we get ready to get loaded in, I do want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for supporting Scholastic Esports here in Indiana. And guys, you can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming as well by giving them a shout out on social media. So make sure to join their community over on Discord, and don't forget to use hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag Zotac USA when you make that post.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of Zotac, my girlfriend's got a wonderful setup in her game there. So I'm really excited to see that sponsor's still with us. But now let's talk a little bit more about the map here. This is going to be a best of one. So taking us to bind Hot Sauce. So let's go over these picks and also this map in general. I know a lot of people watching from home might not be familiar with Valorant, so we're going to be using a lot of call outs today. So if you guys want to know, this is the little mini map for us, and a lot of the main focus comes down to the B and the A site. And when things get pushed in, there's a lot of shorts. The fun part about bind is a lot of call outs get repeated based on what side you're leaning towards. So Hot Sauce, let's take it through A real quick.
Yeah, I mean, you have A showers, which is going to be an important part, or A bath, if you were on screen there. A short and A cubby, as Edu had mentioned, all important parts from the attacking side. Of course, you have the tower or heaven, lamps there as well, which you can kind of get in and out of. And that site it has a little separation there from the tank to the box that's on site for A site. Much like on B, you've got the short section or the window. You've got a longer area as well. But both of these sites have some portals that will quickly transfer you from side to side as well. And so that's something to consider when teams are looking for rotation.
Absolutely. And we talked about team comps here, looking very meta with the double initiator coming out from the attack side. Seeing Yoru as the duelist, very interesting. You talked about those teleports. Well, this character's entire kit is about those teleports, and being able to go through them without making any noise, very potent. But then we look on over at the defense side, and that is the perfect, currently most played VCT ready composition in the game. This is where the pros are going with it. So defense bringing out the Waylay, the Rays. The one thing that I am noticing is the non-Sentinel pickup from them. But when you have double smokes, Viper kind of acts like that Sentinel.
Yeah, Viper can be real tough. I mean, when you're having to try to press onto a site, you deal with the potential vulnerability, the decay there. And obviously the Viper's pit, I mean, it can completely shut down a site at times. So we'll see how they decide to utilize this here. Of course, you can see starting out on the attacking side with this Waylay, with this Raise as well. I mean, or excuse me, I got that backwards. On the defense first, with the lack of Sentinels, is that going to be, an issue for them?
I mean, I would say no, especially with Viper on this map specifically. She can actually use a wall to cut around B and A. Let's hope that It's Life has that lineup for them. But as of right now, it looks like we do see that Viper wall. So if this player knows how to set themselves up on Viper properly, this could be a terrifying setup to fight into. So I'm really going to be interested in how this Yoru is going to be able to punish through those Viper walls and get around that, because without that Sentinel util to slow things down, this team has to act fast.
You see a couple posted toward B window here on that bandit. Shots ring out, trying on the jiggle peak. Dragon unfortunately chopped down to 25 already. We'll let those paint shells fly out, try to buy some time, maybe allow that rotation to come in. And it does come in here early, so maybe prepared for this pressure toward the B site.
Yeah, looking pretty nice. Just grabbing some orbs, wanting to build up your ultimate to maybe get on site a little bit faster here. Dragon currently a little bit low, wants to try to just get in and... Ooh, they have no idea. Wants to catch up and unfortunately not able to get that shot off. But we do know that this rotate is coming in soon.
Well, Crim still finds one with that classic. Unfortunately, still just a bit out there in the open. Doesn't tuck into the corner, and KO's going to return fire. A quick two-tap from June finds the 2K, and Waylay back to a safe distance. Now up into heaven. That spike has been dropped as well, and that's going to make things a little bit more difficult here for Zionsville.
Dragon still going for that lurk up play as June is going to make it a triple kill. Now 4K. It's the end of the round. Dragon's lurk not quite hitting its mark, but at the end of the day, when your teammate gets 4, it's looking very clean. Great amount of elims here. But now going into this next round, the question is, are we seeing a force? Are we seeing a save? Do we want to build up our economy to get some of those bigger weapons?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at the Scholastic level, we usually see them forced into that second round, but I mean, things have been changing a lot. June is going to go ahead and get that Outlaw, which is incredibly devastating in that second round. Dragon with the judge there on Raze, maybe looking to play up close and personal, and with no buys, no armor on the other side, it's going to be very tough for Zionsville here in round 2.
Very tough, and having them group up a lot. You do see Rustlord with a lot of utility to get them out of the site, needs to get some of that information, but they're going up against a little bit of a decent buy. I mean, Spectres 2-tap to the headshot, great damage through the smoke on a Rust there, and so far we're not seeing any util except for smokes down to get them through, and they're just going in now. Now eyes faded, they are going to be able to see it, and now that they've gotten the info, they're actually opting to take the teleporter and immediately start hitting B, which is where that Viper set up. But wait, the TP gets countered and a triple kill comes out from Dragon.
2 with the judge, 1 with the paint shells, and then Viper's there for 1. That judge, it's so devastating. And up into B window here when you're up close and personal, Dragon just able to shine with it. So Penn doing a great job defending both the A site and the B site. I like the fast rotation there from Zionsville. I was surprised that Raze was able to catch them so quickly, but it's tough in that second round when you're still kind of ecoing out. You've got classics in hand. It's to be expected a little bit. So now that we see Zionsville able to work into a little bit of a buy here, hopefully they can make some of that magic happen.
Yeah, let's see if the magic will come through. But looking at these kind of staggered buys, I mean, he's got just enough to buy a Vandal, instead goes for the Outlaw, or goes for the Marshal. The Outlaw is the one that's doing the damage, though, taking out KJ right off rip. No Sentinel for flank watch, as you're going to be looking at a lot of this team still wanting to hit the A site, but with the dog trying to get some more info, they know that they could start pushing up here. Look at this Raze over in Sand wanting to flank from B site as the TP's taken as well, but that's an opening pick that the attackers needed.
One back from It's Life here with that judge, and I don't know, guy has talked to in toward Lamps. Yoru can't have a playground on Bind, but is Calram ready for this? He is. Nice swing as well. And again, it's another 2-player advantage here. Make it a 3 with Dragon on the judge, and the troubles kind of continue here a little bit. KO's been spotted towards spawn side. It doesn't last long, and Penn Valorant, you can see why they are a 9-2 team.
Yeah, you can see that this is very clean gameplays. Look at how they're taking space on that map. Look at how they're constantly anytime they know, okay, this is an A push, let's push for the flank and getting behind them. They're just kind of choking out this poor team. And this is where I'm going to need to see the attacker side try to watch some of those angles, or maybe even bait for it. Put your hook in the water. See if, okay, if we dip our toes into A, we know that they're going to start pushing us from B. We can punish that a little bit. But at the end of the day, these force buys, again, are going to try to give them just enough firepower to get 1 or 2 picks early.
Honestly, the economy is something that we've seen hurt a lot of teams at the scholastic level, knowing when to save together and when to buy together. So hopefully it's something that doesn't come back to haunt them here in the near future. Dragon has gotten himself into a bit of a cheeky position, but June, it just continues to be a nemesis for this squad.
Wow, Dragon's going to continue it up, and that's a flawless round. Again, taking all that space, they're immediately behind you, and unfortunately, with June behind you, you are going to get a bullet to the brain. 7-0 is this player, with Dragon trying to match that KD at 7-0 as well. But finally, we're actually looking at that light buy add up to more rifles. 3 are on the board here for our team Zionsville. They're a new team, so seeing them be able to now have weapons in tandem with each other could allow them to break on out. At the end of the day, it's all about how are they going to use that team play to get them onto A site, because they're currently very heavily stacked towards that location.
Yeah, sometimes it's tough to build that team chemistry as a new team. It takes a little bit of time, so they've only got a couple kills on the board, but that's how it starts. 1 kill at a time, 1 round at a time. Unfortunately, June, a monster toward A short, finds that pick, immediately gets back here on the waylay, is ready for some pressure towards shower side here. Doesn't quite spot him yet, steps into the firing squad, and will dip back to safety.
All right, now setting them up. Russ needs to just be a little bit more patient here. Has to just keep holding it. Looks for his team to go, but where is its life? In this flank, rifle in hand, about to swing on out. 1 shot down onto Russ. June's going to be able to swing together, and this is an execution here down in A short. And now what we have from this flawless round is now 5-round advantage, but we're starting to build up these ultimates here. If we can grab some more orbs after this timeout, we might be able to start launching onto site, but the Cube player is going to be going for this timeout here, Hot Sauce. So let me ask you, Hot Sauce, what do you think this team is talking about? Are they focusing on the mechanical skills? Are they strategizing? What would your best bet be?
I think it's about taking a deep breath and resetting and saying, hey, guys, this is where we're going wrong. Maybe they're getting a little bit too aggressive, or maybe they're just recognizing that Penn Valorant is confident right now and they're getting over aggressive. Let's see if we can maybe spread it out, play a little bit default. If we can find an early pick to give ourselves a player advantage, and maybe talk about crosshair placement or things like that, making sure that we have a teammate that's also close enough that if we don't win that initial gun battle, we find that trade at a bare minimum. So there's all kinds of different things that they could be talking about, but even just taking a moment to slow down that momentum, that confidence of your opponents could go a long way. And I always say, if you lose anywhere from 4 to 6 rounds, it's a great time to take a timeout. So I do really like this from Cube.
Great time for a timeout right before a 6-6 half. Remember that there are 12 rounds in the first half of the game, so you want to try to get that to as close to 6 early as possible to guarantee that you've pretty much won as many rounds as you need to. Any more than 6 and you're decided to be winning. So seeing this timeout called right before 5 rounds in, this is the 6th round, right at the half of the half. Let's see where the strategies have changed it up, and it looks like they are still committing to that A short play. A flash will come out here from Crim Drag, but with that blind, they now know, okay, this is going to be an A push. But again, the defense, they're on the flank, and oh no, this is a massive waylay ult. All of them are hindered, and 1, 2, but not 3. That's the power of having that judge, but Dragon is right behind them.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the numbers. At least they do find the trade at a bare minimum. June does big damage. We see Immortal and Rust finding 2. They combine for a total of 3 here with Gamer, and they pressure forward. Down a 2v1. Viper sneaking in from behind here, and this could be devastating.
Just has to be very patient. But they both take the TP. They just barely escape the lunge coming out from the snake in the grass, but they turn around and the spray. FPS Immortal gets them on the board and is able to successfully execute that snake.
And it just kind of reiterates that a timeout may have just been what's needed. Whatever was said during that little break seems to have worked. It gets a little bit dicey at the end, but playing together, using those numbers, they do find that trade at a minimum. They get one on the board. I'd love to see them be able to build off the back of that now.
Huge. Actually huge round from these attackers. Now look at the 4 ultimates. I know can really launch themselves off. If the I don't know guy is able to pop that ultimate, he gets a lot of information for where they want to go. But immediately sending out an ultimate, it only does about 40 damage here to FPS Immortal, and that ult is now gone. But Dragon has taken so much space here.
And sometimes you take a little gamble with it and it pays off. That time, unfortunately, it doesn't. The showstopper not able to find a kill here, but Dragon has tucked in behind these boxes, and IDK, is he aware? He is not. Dragon steps out, finds a second. The trade eventually comes in, but even Gamer has been chopped to 11. It's Life Cube will battle back and forth, but the numbers still favor Penn here.
Ooh, that's a nice shot there. Now being able to grab June down, it's tied 2-2, 11 HP. Unfortunately, all that this KO has to work with, but with an ultimate on the board and a free A site, we should be able to see them now get another bomb planted. If they get that spike down, it's going to be looking very clean.
Oh, we see him just remaining patient on the other side of things. They will be able to shuffle onto the site here for free. 30 seconds left on the clock. The plant will go down with ease. The numbers are the same, but the health does drastically favor Penn here. KO, 11 health. Now, they've got some of this utility from Killjoy and some things to work with here. So, I mean, honestly, this rotation from Penn is coming in. It's kind of slow. We see him beginning to quicken that pace now, but I think they're just cautious as where Zionsville could be posted up at.
Wow. Alrighty. Going on up. They're making a lot of noise. They still have 1 smoke, full stim, and a molly to work with here. Flash is going to be going out to try to get some information. I believe it does spot out the KO, but we aren't checking showers, and that could get punished here. There's not a lot of time left. Gamer gets one before getting shut down, but I don't think there's any time to go for the defuse, and that's another round here for Zionsville.
Yeah, I'd love to see him beginning to bounce back here. And again, obviously that timeout appears to have been working for him. So they'll get the second round on the board. It comes in a row. And, unfortunately for them, Penn has kind of built up a bit of an economy over there. So they're still able to find some buys here along the way. I mean, it's a full set of rifles. It's Life. I think just choosing to go with that Judge, most likely because they have the Viper's Pit on deck here. And so just a weapon that works very, very good with that ultimate.
Yeah, very clean. Now, again, still talk about ultimates. 4 are still on the board for Zionsville. They're managing to work around these rounds without them, but I think really starting to rely on those could make or break this team. But for now, Dragon actually changing up the strategy, not pushing out B window, not pushing out of hookah, wanting to instead hold garden, double up with your sky, is going to allow a lot more space given over to the attackers. But will these attackers actually launch themselves on a site, or is this double up going to be something unexpected?
And we see that slow flank coming into play. June has been spotted. Swarm grenade goes out, doesn't find any damage. We'll keep him at bay for a moment, but now we see it's Life coming this way as well. So maybe looking for a potential pincer play. Everybody's just kind of playing slow at the moment. Zionsville, if they can find one of these early picks toward the A site, we might see him swing back that direction.
A lot of this attack side, Zionsville, they're burning that clock down, but luckily they have FPS Immortal to get the first blood. Now, no smokes for this team to go in. We do see this Omen making a lot of motion, but will we see them actually now get on in with it as Crimdrag's able to get one, but we have to start committing. It's Life on the flank, pushes right into Rustlord, who is just the judge of the game here. Another one down for Crim, as they just need to keep on sticking this plant. Russ, again, the judge, shutting down June, and now 1 player left. It's just going to be this race.
I have got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised with how well Zionsville has begun to turn this around. Dragon toward garden side has been spotted and called out. Spots the weapon, though, from window, takes out Russ. Immortal has begun to come alive here, and some big plays getting onto the site. The final one here toward garden, and after losing 5 straight rounds in a row, they found 3 themselves as they begin to battle back here.
Honestly, I gotta shout out Cube. Even though 1-7 on the KJ, it's not about the KD. I talked early in the pre-show about how this team needs to be that team player. And Cube calling the timeout, it's worked. They're up 3 rounds since doing so. And now you can really showcase, okay, maybe the right moves is having the right head on your shoulders. And the head of this team is looking really clean to get this team around the corner. But now June wanting to group up with this teammate here as we see an 8 ultimate from the Viper. This is going to completely cut off all of A short and make pushing this a very negative option. But one misplay I'm looking at is that the defense is actually rotating over to the Viper and giving up B, even though this ultimate is going to force the attackers to want to go somewhere else. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, I was kind of confused by that as well. It's like Viper can pretty much hold it down by herself at that point. So we see an early rotation. They do begin to shift back. Maybe a little bit of indecisiveness here because Waylay will head back toward the A site. Moving through. Looking to be patient. They're going to power through. They had a chance. It's Life does find the first, and they haven't been able to chop her down just yet. Immortal will eventually get it here, though.
Wow, honestly, beautiful ult coming out there from, I don't know, guy to get the information of where the Viper is, but June has rotated in time and is now getting a double down, not a triple, as there is the TP to try to get them on a site. But no, they lose the spike right before the door. Omen does have ultimate, but unfortunately is going to get executed by Crim Drag there. Very well played from the attack, but June's aim cut them back.
Good job by Penn here to kind of stifle some of that momentum that Zionsville seemed to begin to gather there. So they'll slow that 3-round run down just a little bit. They guarantee themselves a minimum of a tied half here as well. I feel like Bind historically has been a little bit more defensive favored, but I mean, obviously at this level, it kind of can vary from team to team and those compositions.
All right. Now, we do see June having that ultimate again. Now, this team, Zionsville, is incredibly grouped up a lot of the time. So seeing June, knowing the information, can get a lot of value from that ultimate, being able to stun them and then fly in and execute them. And looks like June is planning on it with this flank developing from our Waylay. Now, right now, we're still burning a lot of clock, or a lot of time in here. And June spots them all and relies only on the aim there. No utility to get them out, and they will be going 1 for 1, but that's an upgraded gun, heavily favoring Zionsville. But with only a minute left here, they have to start deciding which site they want to fall.
Oof, and that's a big pick as well. When they find Crim Drag, that means nobody's home here on the B site. If they decide to explode out, it's going to be wide open. We can see through the spawn comes Raze, I believe, here. So trying to cut it off a little bit, but the space has already been taken. We'll see the rest of the team begin to follow suit here. 38 seconds on the clock as the plant now will eventually go down.
I mean, this is the main strategy of this default. It's just swing back and forth and try to get that info. But Dragon grabbing one. Knife is going to distract them, and that allows, I don't know, guy to get one. But now it's Life out of the teleporter and into the Fryer as we're seeing a nice clean swing. 1 down for 1. Leaves just Karam, and that's it. A beautiful round. 6-4. A pretty close game here, Hot Sauce.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit worried when we first got started. You know, you talked about Zionsville only being 2 and 3 in the season, maybe coming in a bit late, maybe not as experienced, but it might have just been some of those early game jitters, things, you know, it may taken a little bit to get warmed up in that competitive scene here because, you know, we saw June and Dragon both 9-0 or something like that, but they've found something that's working for them. The teamwork seems to be happening. They're playing a little bit closer together. When they're not winning the gun battles, they're finding the trade. So Zionsville looking very good here in the second part of the first half.
FPS Immortal slowly inching up here, wanting to break themselves through. This player has been very clean on getting down their util, getting down the smokes. We just have to see the rest of their team go in while those smokes are up. But June, not really quite seeing much, going for the jump peaks. Wants to break through. And with no information, I love the triple stack on B here, Hot Sauce.
Well, I think they're ready to run it down, but yeah, they might just be running right into the plan of Penn Valorant here. They're posted up and waiting. They still got a little utility to work with here as well. We see Crim toward elbow. The paint shells rain in toward B window here as well. And again, that Viper wall makes things much more difficult. 40 seconds on the clock with Viper coming in behind here as well. They know there's no rotation coming through, but this pick from KO is a big one.
Nice. It's life again. This flanking Viper getting value as X-Dragon's gonna get one, and a nice big push coming in here. Triple kill with June being able to use that ultimate to stun the team. 7-4, which Hansas, that means officially Penn Valorant has won this half, but can they win the game?
Winning half, it's a great start on the defensive side of things, but I think realistically, you know, if you're the attacking side, you're equally as happy. You'd like to finish out at a 7-5. But, you know, I think that being the case, I think you're happy from both sides. That pistol round obviously going to be crucial here in the next half, but we'll see if Zionsville can find a way to steal this last one away. They've got pretty much a full buy and 4 rifles in hand with Russ rocking the Bucky, so maybe feeling a bit lucky here.
Nice big pick there from Immortal. June now down. I mean, that is a massive player to not have to worry about. Being patient, definitely helping, but this KJ ultimate is not going to fully control the site. It's life is putting himself in a position where he is going to be grabbed by it, unfortunately, and that means that while he's detained, they will have full control of this point.
I don't know if they're aware that he's detained in showers here, though. So may just survive long enough. Krim and the rest of the crew will wait for suppression to wear off. And now with that blind, look to press in. Life has found Immortal, who's been a star. Player advantage still favoring Zionsville as the dog does go on by. And the swing from IDK finds one. The Odin's back here in the hands of Krim Drag as well.
All right, Krim Dragon, Odin running and gunning, finding one. It's life being able to get out of that detain, and now getting one down. The Odin from Krim Drag needs to find its mark, but that spike is ticking. They have to start pushing up fast, and now they're out of time. Unfortunately, just barely enough to get out, but 7-5 will be the guarantee at the half here, Hot Dots. And now, with the switch of the sides, this is where I fear Penn Valorant's team is pretty much S tier. They don't need to worry about having a sentinel aside from flank watch, but they now have an explosive launch onto site with 2 smokes for a lot of control, as well as the double duelist for flying out there.
Yeah, combine that with Sky's ability to blind for the intel, the dog as well, and the heals. I mean, the group heals. So they certainly have a team built for attacking here on Bind, and I mean, they're going to be going toward the 3 stack of Zionsville, so at least they're a little bit thicker in numbers on this site. But I think it's going to be tough. Penn Valorant looked like the stronger team in the first pistol round.
All right. Krim Drag going up, needing to now find a little bit of their mark. Are seeing Rust Lord not able to shut down June. The flash is coming out, and inside the smoke, you do have the Yoru hiding quite well, but will they get traded? Yes, Kurum gets it, but FPS Immortal manages to get one, but the running gun right click from the Classic gets the final pick. But will these re-hitters be able to shut them down? It's one down for the KO, and the last player, Heaven, flanked by June.
Yeah, Dragon and June, they've got a good thing going together and play well off of each other, consistently hit shots. I mean, you see It's Life in double digits as well, but June at 18, Dragon at 17, and winning that round will allow them to force up if they choose to do so. On the other side of things, it looks like pretty much classics across the board, maybe a shorty here in the hands of Yoru, but a chance for Penn Valorant to really begin to extend the lead here.
All right. 8-5. Honestly, not a terrible position to be in if you are that defense, but look at this. I call it a Hail Mary gamble stack, where you're just putting everybody together and seeing what value you can find, and it works. They're able to grab one, but Dragon's already out on site, already right behind you with the Judge, and Dragon's going to grab one, but the Guardian in the hand of that Yoru could shut down this raise. However, it's not going to stop the plant.
Yeah, we'll see Cube in a bit of trouble here as well. June with that Judge will be the jury and the verdict. It's lights out for Cube. Off to the Ghost, and the heat is on as they are hunting for this final one. It's I don't know guy. Already in hand. A little bit of intel, but it doesn't matter. Dragon on the Judge will find one as well. And Penn Valorant starting to stack these rounds now from the attacking side as well.
All right. Well, 10 to 12. You're seeing the top frag over on the side of defense, doing the best to try to carry this team. And what I need to see more of is that utility usage. A lot of the time you're looking at Penn Valorant, who's flying in with satchels, which with the waylay dashes, with the stuns. And on the opposite end of it, we have pretty much FPS Immortal going for some of these really solid smokes, but I need to see the rest of their team start committing a little bit more information. Maybe we can see an eye or two, but this Viper knows what they're doing. This smoke made to flood lamps.
And flood lamps they do. June finds the first, looking for more. We'll pick up onto the top frag of KO here as well. Plant will go down with ease, and the stampede isn't done. They said enough pitter-patter. Time to get at her. The trade comes in. The numbers stacked in their favor. If it's not June, it's Dragon, and Zionsville only has Immortal left standing.
Nice big shot coming out there from them. And now FPS Immortal being able to get that one pick has opened the door for a 1v3 clutch, technically 1v4, but I think what they have to do is isolate these 1v1s and shut down this Viper. But unfortunately, 10 HP, the Phantom headshot moment is not going to allow for this Viper to fall. And that is double digits on the board for Penn Valorant.
Double digits. They'll double the lead as well for Zionsville. You know they're capable of bringing it back, though. We saw it in the first half. They just need to go on another one of these 3-4 round runs, but they really can't afford to let Penn get 5 in a row here in the second half, much like they did in the first half. But the economy, it's been a little bit iffy. It's kind of a scrappy buy. We've got a few shotties and Ares and a Spectre out there, so these rounds are going to be tough if they can't get that economy in check.
We just have to be a little patient here. Already we're seeing the waylay dash out, this time coming out of showers, wanting to get aggro. The TP, almost a perfect flank, but the gun they used for it isn't going to find a lot of value, but neither is the shorty there. Never mind, it's in the hands of June. It will. There's a stun, and the run and gun from the Bucky's able to find one. But look at this inside the smoke. They try finding a weapon, but all they do is find some damage.
Yoru doesn't have much life left to give here. Cube up top will drop the turret as Calram able to get the plant down. June toward heaven side knows they're there, and it's the ace in this round. June continues to put bodies in the dirt. Has to be feeling great here at 27 and 7, 3 away from that 30 bomb, and maybe potentially just a couple rounds left to do it.
All right, not easy, but a couple rounds left. I think what we really got to be looking at is the ratty plays. I know it's a little bit of a negative idea in your head when someone gets called a rat, but in Valorant specifically, it's the strategy that works so well against a very hyper aggressive team. But will we see anything come through with an ultimate like this, locking out? No, the Yoru TP's out, which means they do not find the value that they need, and June gets to now walk on up and not get punished anyways. FPS Immortal though, good for one, as Crim Drag's here to keep this damage going. Unfortunately, FPS, this guy is keeping his team alive and will use his ultimate to try to get out of dodge for a second there, go all the way to the other end of the map, try to dodge somebody. But look at June pushing on up, gets the Yoru, leaving only FPS, and he gets taken down too.
Yeah, from an ace to a triple, June will hit that 30 bomb here in regulation, and now they just need one more round. It is 5 in a row in the second half as well. They've given themselves 7 additional opportunities to shut this one down. Zionsville, they made it close in that first half. They had a good fight in that comeback, but now once we swap sides, like you had mentioned, this composition here for Penn, it just really suits what seems like their play style. So one more round to go for them.
One round left, but that's only if we see Zionsville not being able to shut them down. Beautiful jump in there from FPS, trying to be bold to shut them down early. And look at this, Rustlord air shotting them down. And this is exactly what I want to be seeing. 2 players fall. We have a life advantage. We got another one. The Classic takes out June. 2v3. It is not over yet unless Karam gets a crazy clutch up here. But the util usage is too strong. Crim Drag on the flank. Odin in hand. Executes one. 1v1. CP might be able to get him out, but he cuts it early and he just barely TPs, but he doesn't have spike. And now he has to use the ultimate to come grab the bomb. And let's see. if we can get them back on site in time. We do have the rotate from the Yoru. And Crim Drag, life advantage, weapon advantage, even has an ultimate will tell him exactly where this player is.
Well, we'll see what Yoru decides to do. He doesn't have a ton of time to work with. He's far away at the moment, and just with a Bucky here as well. We'll see Sky begin to shift in toward Bath here as well. And I mean, for Yoru, he's got a lot of areas to check and uncover. And with the flank coming in the long direction here, I think this is going to be a tough one.
Tap the bomb. And just get flanked, and that's gonna be game 13-5. GG's, the good sportsmanship from across the team. But with 13 being 5, Penn Valorant Varsity officially reaches double digits this season, while Zionsville Valorant is going to have to go 2-4 so far.
Yeah, they had a lot of great moments. There was a couple close rounds here and there as well, but and they had a couple streaks along the way. I mean, they made that first half very, very competitive, but you know, at the end of the day, I think we see why Penn Valorant was 9-2 heading into this, now 10-2. A very strong team that plays well together, and a composition that just seems to work very well for them.
Yeah, a very solid composition, hyper aggressive. As I was talking about, it's S tier in VCT when it comes to everything except for lacking a Sentinel, but you don't need one if that Viper locks it down like they did. So I like the strats that we're seeing them pull out. I think that at the end of the day, both teams made some really solid plays here. Really solid plays. I think the timeout into the immediate 3 rounds following, I thought that was beautiful. You know, this team very much had a good hold on this half. And the first half, I think they definitely have a lot to learn from, and they get to keep it going because IHSEN's not done for Valorant. They want to keep it coming. They want to keep showing up and keep up this kind of gameplay. So as I see that these guys have really solid heads on their shoulders, I think that the expectation for them to keep getting better is definitely merited.
Yeah, I mean, everybody did a phenomenal job here tonight, and there's always room for growth on either side. But I do want to give a big shout out to LandFest as well. Remind everybody that this broadcast here is a part of LandFest's Scholastic Esports program. It's a program that supports this league and many others. Since launching, LandFest has delivered over 300 broadcasts to Scholastic leagues in both the Washington and Indiana area. So we provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, the schools, and all the teams that we cover. And it's your generous donations that make all of this possible. So just a reminder that every $200 we're able to raise here covers the operating costs for one regular season broadcast. So if you appreciate our work and you're able to donate today, please scan that QR code and help out.
And of course, we also have one other sponsor that I'd love to talk about today, and that is actually what you see with all of this fanciness. It's the LOS portal. League OS is where we get our fancy graphics, as well as where you guys can find collegiate scholarships for playing in esports. I personally play in NECC, another company that is on League OS for collegiate events. So make sure that you guys check it out. If you're an IEN student, sign in to manage your prospect profile, and then you too might be able to compete higher up after you graduate high school, or there are some opportunities where you can even start playing earlier and earlier. So let's see that. League OS portal is free, and don't miss your chance to get discovered as a player. As we saw June, I think he's going to be a player a lot of people want to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Dragon as well. I mean, the whole crew did very, very well. So friendly reminder to everybody out there watching that Super Smash Brothers will be back not tomorrow, but on Wednesday, the 25th at the same time here as today, I believe 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central. But before we get going, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody behind the scenes here, Connie and Taylor, for always producing and doing such a wonderful job, making our jobs easy here on screen. Of course, IEN for allowing us to come yell at the mic, Edu, a phenomenal caster, and everybody hanging out with us in chat. We appreciate each and every one of you. So click that follow button so you can tune in next time. That is Edu to my digital right. My name is Hot Sauce. You guys have been beautiful. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening.